Alright, what's happening, y'all? It's your boy Rico from RicoScores, and man, oh man, this boy Josh Harris is not playing with y'all, man. I'm telling y'all, he made another elite NFL hire. I'm telling y'all right now, this guy is the rule guru. He's gonna have a headset on during games. We're gonna break down who he is, his history in the NFL, what role he'll have with the Commanders after we've hired him, all of that and more. Also, we got to talk about how Ashburn is about to be very busy for these next few days, man. We have a lot of these quarterbacks coming in for visits from between Monday, which by the time y'all get this video, it would no longer be Monday. It would be Tuesday, like 12 something a.m. Tuesday and Wednesday. Wednesday is the deadline for top 30 visits. We have a lot, not only these top quarterbacks, but also a lot of top draft prospects in general outside of the quarterback position, tackles, tight ends, all of that, all coming in over these next few days. Some of these quarterbacks are even going to bump shoulders in these meetings. So this is crazy. This is chaos. But before we dive into all of that, make sure you stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, and stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. Do not leave this video without leaving a like. And also make sure you go follow the Instagram, the Twitter, the Facebook, and the TikTok, because we are not playing over there as well. We're coming with a lot of content over there, even some content that I don't necessarily post on my YouTube channel. So stay tuned for all of that. Go follow all of those. I'm gonna keep y'all updated on everything. And of course, with the draft coming up in like a few days, I'm about to start hitting y'all with like literally 2-3 videos a day, film sessions for draft prospects. I'll probably do one more mock draft before we dive into everything. And of course, I will be live streaming rounds 1 through 5. So day 1, round 1, day 2, rounds 2 and 3, and day 3, rounds 4 and 5 at the very least. Every pick, every team, I'm analyzing everything. Even though I am a Commanders fan, this is a Commanders channel, I will be analyzing and even making predictions for every pick that's going down in the draft, especially ours. So make sure you stay tuned. Without further ado, instead of wasting more of y'all time, let's get to what y'all came for. Let's get it. Adam. All right, so let's start first half of the video. I feel like the most important news is the fact that the Commanders have hired former NFL executive Dave Gardi as our new senior VP of football initiatives. Gardi worked with the league office since 2003 and held the title of senior VP of football operations since 2014. This guy is big time, y'all. I'm telling y'all right now. His resume is long, y'all. 21 years in the league office doing football operations, rules, all kinds of stuff. After time working on cap space and all of that type of stuff as well. Like, he has experiences in every way possible as far as like front office and just really the NFL. He's been around the way with everything. And his bio literally says Gardi is the gatekeeper of policies and procedures that control competitive balance in the NFL. Like, this guy's the most behind the scenes guy as it gets. Like, it's crazy. This guy, Peter Schrager, even came out and tweeted when he saw the fact that we hired him. He tweeted, NFL league office fixture and mentor to about 50 young men and women in front offices around the league. Gardi leaving Park Ave to go to the club side of things is big time. First of all, most people didn't expect him to leave the current position that he had with the NFL. Now, we're not talking about an NFL team. No, with the NFL. He was above NFL teams, helping a lot of their front offices, all these other teams around the NFL and things like that. This guy was like at the top of the top, like up there with like Roger Goodell and guys like that, like right underneath him and things like that. He was basically like one of Roger Goodell's like right-hand mans and people like that. So this guy is like big time. Most people didn't expect him to just leave the current role that he had to go work for any NFL team. And then on top of that, for him to come to the Commanders is phenomenal. This is big news again. Even Peter Schrager is pointing out the fact that this guy, I mean, he's out here mentoring a lot of people who are running NFL teams around the league, like guys in front offices here and there. This is the guy that's like mentoring those guys. And now he's coming here to work for us is incredible, man. This guy is big time again. Gardi is expected to use a headset during games too. Like, his emphasis in season will be on the coaching side of things, which is crazy. He's leaving working for the NFL, again, not an NFL team, the NFL, to helping us on the coaching side of things. That is phenomenal, man. And so he'll help handle in-game strategy, things like that. And basically, he's going to be the guy that's in the booth, like helping us with timeouts, reviews, and things like that. And we already have Eugene Shin here with his analytics to help with that as well. Now we're bringing in another guy to help with that. And I love it. And shouts out to Craig Hoffman for pointing this out as well, because this is great because he's helped write a bunch of the rules. Like, a lot of these rules that we have in the NFL right now, this guy is the rules guy for Roger Goodell, and now he's going to be helping us. He's going to be helping our front office. He'll be helping our coaching staff in different ways. Literally, the guy that's been writing the rules is now coming to help the Commanders with the rules. I don't know how else to word it for y'all to understand how monumental this is, man. And an exact quote about his role: Gardi will handle a number of in-game management duties and will support the coaching staff and front office on compliance with league protocols, officiating trends, and health and safety guidelines. I mean, this guy, I'm telling y'all, prior to his role with the football operations department at the NFL league office, Gardi advised clubs on matters related to the NFL collective bargaining agreement, including players' contracts, salary cap, club discipline, league policies, and workers' compensation. Anything behind the scenes, this guy has done it all. Again, even salary cap. So even if you need an extra voice when it comes to salary cap management and contracts, he's a guy for that as well. And then if you're talking about, well, can we bend these rules? Where are the loopholes here in any way? The guy that literally has helped make the rules that we have is coming to help us. So if anybody knows any weaknesses, any loopholes that we can take advantage of, it's this guy here. I'm telling y'all. And shouts out to Rico's Rag, because they worded this perfectly, coming directly from their article that was written by Dean Jones. The NFL is a salary cap league from a playing personnel standpoint. But as we all know, there's no such financial restrictions placed on coaches or those within the front office. Something that Josh Harris has put to good use throughout an eventful offseason so far. Given the Washington Commanders have languished in football poverty for so long thanks to Dan Snyder's reclusive approach and lack of investment, it's no surprise to see Harris change all of that. He's also sparing no expense to get the right people in place to spearhead his exciting revolution. I couldn't agree more. And like I've been talking about for months, Josh Harris is not playing. He's not being cheap with us. This is his baby. A lot of people are worried about, man, what happens? I mean, he has to worry about the Sixers with basketball. They're going to be in the playoffs and things like that. How is he going to be able to manage the Sixers and the Commanders along with this hockey team in Philadelphia as well? And I kept telling y'all, man, this is his baby. He grew up a burgundy and gold fan. I mean, of course, he's going to do everything in his power to help the Sixers succeed, his NHL team to succeed and all of that. But the Commanders are his baby for real. This is the team he grew up watching, going to their games as a child and things like that. He's not going to play about us. He's even exceeded my expectations again. He's not being cheap. Since there's no salary cap in front office and coaching hires, Josh Harris has basically decided that he will spend as much money as it takes to get even the most marginal advantages in any way possible. Josh Harris is looking around like, oh, you can help the Commanders' chances of winning a Super Bowl by leaving just 1%? You're hired, literally. Like, to even prove my point further, does any other team in the NFL even have a guy like this that we just hired in Dave Gardi? Like, Josh Harris is literally leaving no stone left unturned and even making up job titles and responsibilities that don't previously exist around the NFL to help the Commanders win right now. Like, he's doing whatever it takes. You can help us in any way. We'll just make up a title on the spot for you. You want to be called this? Go ahead and call yourself that, as long as you help contribute to us being Super Bowl contenders sooner rather than later. And then also, Josh Harris even said it himself a while ago, that basically you have to spend on the edges to gain any advantages in a salary cap league. So again, you can put a salary cap on the players that we sign to go out there and play on the field for us, but for the coaches that are coaching and the front office members that are doing what they have to do, their different roles and responsibilities and all of that type of stuff, there's no cap on that. And Josh Harris was basically like, bet, say less. I'm going to take advantage of that for sure, and I love it. Shouts out to Burgundy Blog for pointing this out as well. Smart, non-standard, edge-finding hires by Josh Harris in just the last 6 months. You have Eugene Shin, analytics, Bob Myers, search, Rick Spielman, search, Tim McGrath, performance, Juarez on the rehab side, and now Gardi on the rule side of things. Like, I'm telling you, man, if there's any way to have an advantage in the NFL, Josh Harris is finding it. And again, he's not being cheap. And I feel like this hire is even more significant just simply because how the NFL, like this season specifically, is going to look completely different than any previous year, especially on special teams right now. Like kickoffs, when y'all watch this, I guess it's going to start in the preseason in a couple of months. And when you're watching football, you're going to think that you're watching in an entirely different sports league in an entirely different country, how crazy it's about to look. And so we already hired one of the best special teams coordinators in the NFL in Larry Izzo. And then now you add Dave Gardi as well. So if there's any team that I feel like will be ready immediately for these new special teams changes and all these different rule changes with the hip drop tackle, everybody, the team that's going to be the most clear and concise with that and completely following the rules and things like that is going to be the Commanders. If I had to pick one team that's going to be on point with all of these different changes, rule changes, play style changes, it's us, especially after you just hired Dave Gardi, who helped make these rules. Why would we not be prepared for these rules if we just hired the guy full-time that was help making these rules? And going back to Rigo's rag, because I completely agree, I feel like they worded things very well. Gardi will be responsible for ensuring the Commanders are compliant with league protocols in addition to handling in-game management duties. He'll also keep everyone well informed about officiating trends and any potential changes. So we'll have like the heads up before other NFL teams that, oh, wait a minute, from my sources, from my folks back at the NFL league office, not an NFL team, the NFL themselves are telling me that, hey, man, this may be where we're going. Let's go ahead and start practicing that a year before that rule even comes into place. Like, there's infinite possibilities of how he can help bring advantages to us. I'm telling you right now. Looking at his resume, he is arguably the best possible candidate for such responsibilities, man. This is something reflected by General Manager Adam Peters, who's thrilled to be working with Gardi and confident he can flourish during this transition from the league side to Washington based on his comments via the team's website. Adam Peters said, quote, "I'm excited to welcome Dave Gardi to the Washington Commanders. Dave has been one of the most highly regarded executives at the NFL league office and is someone with an immense knowledge of the game. He will be an invaluable resource to our front office as we continue to usher in a new era of Washington Commanders football. It's my pleasure to welcome Dave and his family to the DMV," unquote. Nothing but high praise from the guy that most people have high praise for, and Adam Peters himself. So if people view Adam Peters in that sort of light, and Adam Peters views this guy in the same sort of light, this guy matters. If you don't trust Dave Gardi just off the name, trust Adam Peters' trust in him at the very least. And I think it's really interesting too, because we're bringing in this rules guy right before the draft. So maybe this is going to affect our draft plans. Who are the guys that are not doing hip drop tackles already in college that we're going to have to coach that out of them going into the NFL level? As much as I love Peyton Wilson, and I feel like to me he's linebacker one in this draft, just my personal favorite linebacker, his tape is littered with hip drop tackles that in college they don't care about it yet, but in the NFL that's illegal. You can't do that anymore. They're going to really enforce people to stop doing that at the NFL level. So now with a guy like Dave Gardi being brought in, he's probably going to bring that to Adam Peters' attention, who probably is already aware. Dan Quinn, Joey Jr., all of those guys probably already aware, but he's probably going to be that extra emphasis on, are you sure you want to draft this Peyton Wilson guy? You're going to have it's going to be a pretty hard transition for him. There's going to be some growing pains there for him, because he's going to have to basically learn how to replay the sport of football, how to learn how to tackle all over again, like a lot of players will probably have to do, but him more especially. So even though as much as I love Peyton Wilson, bringing a guy like Dave Gardi probably limits your chances of potentially getting a Peyton Wilson, even if he does somehow make it out of the first round. And then continuing with the Rigo Rags article, Dan Quinn delved a little deeper into Gardi's qualities and how they can assist the Commanders moving forward. His knowledge of how best to prepare for game days will be an invaluable resource for the new head coach as he looks to maximize his second opportunity as a head coach. Because again, remember his stint with the Falcons as a head coach. It seems small, but this attention to detail is exactly what this once proud organization has lacked. I completely agree. Dan Quinn said, quote, Dave Gardi is one of the brightest minds in our league when it comes to football operations. He will be an incredible resource to the coaching staff as we prepare and plan for game days. Dave brings a unique perspective to our organization after working with the league office for 2 decades. His addition makes our organization better across the board. I am thrilled to welcome Dave and his family to the DMV. And notice that Adam Peters said how he'll help with the front office, and Dan Quinn said he'll help with the coaching staff. This guy is going to help us in so many different ways. I don't think y'all understand, again, how monumental this is. And then Jim Nagy, again, another guy, completely neutral source, not a Commanders fan, not biased towards us or against us any way possible. After he saw the Adam Schefter tweet announcing the Commanders hiring Dave Gardi, he tweeted, quote, NFL league office is losing a good one. If you talk to people at team level, Dave is someone everyone trusts. Smart outside the box hire by the Commanders. This is a franchise that suddenly gets it, unquote, from Jim Nagy himself, man. Everybody is praising us across the board. Everybody is like, wow. Not only did I not expect this guy to ever leave the NFL, but congratulations for the Commanders to even be the team that steals him away from the NFL. How did y'all even do it? How did y'all convince this guy to leave the great opportunity that he had to come only help you? This guy has basically been balancing helping all 32 NFL teams for the past 20 years, and now he's coming in to only help you. How did you basically do it is what a lot of people are basically saying right now when you look around the internet and see how, again, non-Commanders fans, analysts, or writers, reporters, or anybody like that are all congratulating us for this hire and are shocked by it in a positive way. And then also, Rigo's Rags brings up another great point. Gardi wouldn't have left a high-ranking NFL office job for nothing. He thinks something special might be happening and has likely been paid handsomely to make the switch. There's a lot of things to break down there because I completely agree. First of all, I'm pretty sure Josh Harris dropped a big bag, big munions on this hire, first and foremost. But also, again, to go back to my point that I keep re-emphasizing, like, most people get jobs with NFL teams to eventually work in the NFL league office. This guy was already at the point where most people are trying to get to and is leaving that to come help the Commanders. That should tell you everything you need to know, because this further adds to my point that our future is very bright. Really, it really is. Like, the elite of the elite around the NFL want to be a part of what we're growing here, what we're starting off with right now. First, it was all of the minority owners, like most notably Magic Johnson wanted to jump on ship before we took off. Then it was the elite analytics mind and Eugene Shin who helped build the Dolphins, the Ravens, and the Jaguars to who they are. And then it was all of the top GM candidates fighting over each other to win the Commanders job. You have Adam Peters and all of the top other GM candidates that a lot of other teams wanted. And then after we hired Adam Peters, a lot of those guys just went back to their old job. They didn't just want to become GMs for anybody. They weren't just like, the priority was not to be a GM. The priority was to get the Commanders job, because a lot of those other top candidates like Ian Cunningham was just like, okay, can't get the Commanders job? Carolina, all these other NFL teams still have openings. Nah, I'll just go back to the Bears. All I really wanted to do was go for the Commanders. I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Peters was the same way. If we didn't end up picking Adam Peters for some crazy reason, he probably would have just went back with the 49ers. So that was clear that everybody, all of the top GM candidates, wanted to work for us. And then, again, with us having the pick between the greats, we chose Adam Peters, not necessarily us having to fight out other teams for him. He was having to battle out other GMs for us. And then after we hired Dan Quinn, we were hiring elite coaches left and right, proven coaches, developmental coaches, ex-head coaches, ex-defensive coordinators, all coming here for lesser roles, job titles, and responsibilities just to be a part of a potentially great coaching staff, at the very least on paper. And remember, even our offensive coordinator, Cliff Kingsbury, almost signed with the Raiders and then backed out at the last second to join us. Then we were the top free agency destination just a couple of weeks ago, not only by the amount of free agents that we signed, but also with the most. I mean, first of all, we signed more NFL free agents than any other team out of the entire NFL, but also the values of the contracts, like very team friendly deals, very incentive based, or even 1 year prove it deals for guys that deserve more money. I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys we signed in free agency could have gone and got more money somewhere else. And then Tim McGrath decided to stop even leading his own business that he founded himself of doing medical consultancy and rehabilitation for several teams in several leagues in several countries to come here and focus on just taking a full-time role and only for us. Like, instead of doing all of that medical consultancy and rehabilitation planning for, again, multiple leagues, multiple teams across different countries, he decided to take a full-time role to only do that for us. And now you have Dave Gardi doing something very similar to Tim McGrath. And even after all of that, I still skipped a few hires, like the Warriors dynasty creator and Bob Myers, former Vikings GM Rick Spielman. Both of those guys coming here just to do an advisory role. Like, I could keep going on and on about how unique of a situation the Commanders are building right now. Like, you can't convince me that Josh Harris and Adam Peters are not cooking something up with all of these elite NFL minds that are willing to leave their great jobs elsewhere, great jobs, great positions, titles, and all of that, to come be here full time. Instead of just working here part time, I want to keep this job here because it's such a great job, but I'll help y'all in certain ways. No, they're completely leaving their job that they worked hard for to get there to come solely work for us. Put all of that genius, effort, creativity, experience, and just basically use it all to focus solely on how can I help the Commanders become a better organization and team and win on the field, all of that type of stuff. I mean, there has to be something that they're all seeing right now. And I honestly feel like down the line, like 7 years from now, we're going to look back and be like, man, we should have seen the Commanders' greatness coming. The clues were there. You can clearly see it right now. Of course, I'm not expecting us to go into this first season under Adam Peters and all of these guys and just Super Bowl contenders, but I'm pretty sure we're building this organization in a way to where we can win consistently and have some longevity, not just be a flash in the pan, like one great season here and there. We're building it in a way from the ground up to where we should have consistent success. I'm super excited. I also think that it's hilarious that Josh Harris saw that 32nd ranked, last place ranked NFLPA survey of top free agency destinations and was like, never again. He's already, remember, don't forget, Josh Harris already put a multi-million-dollar budget towards upgrading the Ashburn facilities and the Landover Stadium already. That's already in works as well. So he's, again, not playing. I'm willing to bet money that we aren't going to be last place the next survey that they do. Arizona Cardinals are going to be down there by themselves, I'm telling you. Also, Gardi brings up another great point before we move on from this topic. Josh Harris is spending on infrastructure in a way that Dan Snyder never did, and it is great to see. So salute to that. Now, moving on to the next topic. There are various reports now that Drake May, JJ McCarthy, and Michael Penix will all be visiting Commanders within just a couple of days. Like, not only, shouts out the Burgundy blog for this, not only simultaneously, but also on the last possible day. The deadline for top 30 visits for all draft prospects, not just the quarterbacks, but everybody, tackle, edge rusher, whatever, is Wednesday, April 17th. That's it. That's the cutoff. And we're bringing all of these guys in between Monday through Wednesday, most notably Tuesday and Wednesday. This is crazy. Like, right now, the Commanders have Jayden Daniels flying in on Monday, April 15th. And again, by the time y'all are watching this, that's technically yesterday. And then he's technically having his visit Tuesday. Then Michael Penix Jr. and JJ McCarthy are going to have their visits Tuesday through Wednesday. And then Drake May is flying in Tuesday to have his visit Wednesday as well. Like I said in the intro, these guys are going to be bumping shoulders passing by each other. Like, this is crazy. And then on top of all of the quarterbacks, you also have edge rusher Chop Robinson coming in Tuesday, April 16th as well. And then tackle Jordan Morgan and tight end Eric All are coming in sometime between Tuesday and Wednesday. And then Jatavion Sanders was just here Monday, April 15th. So Ashburn basically over the course between Monday through Wednesday is looking like a Georgia recruiting weekend right now. This is crazy. I mean, I can't believe that we're trying to consolidate everybody to just these couple of days. This is wild. And then my dog Rio Robinson said that they're basically having a draft job fair in Ashburn on Tuesday and Wednesday right now. Everybody and their mama is about to be out there crammed into these couple of days. I don't even know how that's gonna work. That's really weird. And outside of the quarterback, since we're bringing in so many of them, don't be surprised if we end up drafting a lot of these guys. Again, ignore quarterbacks because we're bringing in several of them. We're only going to draft one with the second overall pick, so we can move past that. But Adam Peters has shown through history that he likes to draft guys that he had for top 30 visits with the 49ers. Shouts out, somebody was on the John Kahn podcast. He recently broke it down and pointed out this fact and things like that. So let's see if this is a real trend. Shouts out to Hogs Haven for doing like a breakdown. When you look at their 2023 draft, 4 guys out of the 9 that they drafted came in for top 30 visits. And then one of those guys that didn't have a top 30 visit had a private workout. And then 2 of the guys that they didn't have top 30 visits came in for at least, they met with them in a combine, and then at least one of the other ones, they went to the guy's pro day. There was only one player that they drafted in 2023 that they didn't at least have a top 30 visit, a private workout, meet with him at the combine, or go to his pro day. That's it. And then to go even further back, let's go back to 2022. They drafted 5 guys that they had top 30 visits with, and only 4 of their draft picks they didn't have top 30 visits with. That's literally more than half of the guys that they drafted. That is crazy. One of the guys that they didn't have a top 30 visit with, they had a virtual meeting. And then another guy that they didn't have a top 30 visit with, they at least met with them at the combine. So there were only 2 players that they didn't at least have a top 30 visit, a virtual meeting, a private workout, or at least talk to them at the combine. And again, 5 out of their 9 draft picks in 2022, they had top 30 visits with. So just to give you the heads up, you need to really pay attention to these top 30 visits that the Commanders are having right now, because I wouldn't be surprised if Adam Peters brings that strategy with them here. Also, shouts out to Hogs Haven, because in the same article, they break down what a top 30 visit exactly is right now. And they pointed out every team is allowed up to 30 in-house visits with prospects. The teams can use them on whatever level of prospect they wish. It doesn't necessarily indicate that the team is high on a player or anything like that, but according to Adam Peters, they must, because just from his propensity to drafting top 30 visited guys. Some teams use the visits to create the illusion of interest. It could be a smokescreen, you never know, but Adam Peters is showing it may not be. But maybe with his new baby, the Commanders, his first time ever being an official general manager, not an assistant general manager, maybe he comes here with a different strategy than he had for the 49ers. Who knows? Others want medical examinations and information with their own doctors and training staff, which is one of the key components to the visits. The team doctors and trainers are permitted to perform their own medical evaluations of the players, because they may not trust the medical doctors and trainers and guys like that at the combine and the pro days. They want to use their own guys that have their own standard. On-field football work is strictly forbidden by the league. Players can tour the facility but not do any football-related activities. So I want to point that out, because I thought originally that when they come in for top 30 visits, they could see like the quarterbacks throwing things like that, but apparently you can't do that. Teams often review a player's game film with the player, though. It gives the player a chance to explain the context of his performance in a particular situation, as well as letting the team get a feel for the player's feel for the game and his ability to critically assess himself. That's extremely important. Like, whoever does the better job of that, I wouldn't be surprised if that ends up being the guy that we draft, just literally because of that part alone. I would not be surprised if that plays a major role in that. It's a good opportunity to get to know the player on a deeper level, and both Adam Peters and Dan Quinn have said it themselves. Meeting a guy face-to-face, one-on-one is very huge in their selection process of who's going to be the face of this franchise. So these top 30 visits, like I've been saying for weeks now, I feel like what they did on film is first. That's priority. Like, how good of a quarterback are they actually? What are their weaknesses and their strengths and things like that? That's number one. I feel like directly behind that in second place, as far as what matters most and which quarterback, how they decide which quarterback they want to take with the second overall pick, is going to be these top 30 visits. I feel like pro days way down the list, combine meeting way down the list, and things like that. I feel like these top 30 visits is easily second, only behind how good they actually are on tape. That's literally it. Now moving on, JP Finley pointed out the fact that let me just read the tweet. So this is interesting. Tressway isn't going anywhere, period. But the Commanders team shop is trying to clear out the number 5 jerseys. why, and then he linked his podcast. Because if you notice on the team website right now, Tressway jerseys originally $130 are now going for $61. But do we realize that Daniels hasn't even had his top 30 visit yet? So I don't feel like it's fair to go ahead and speculate on that, because even say they do, just say, even as a Jayden Daniels guy that I am, even though I'm happy with either one, Jayden Daniels or Drake Maye, I'm happy, but I prefer Jayden Daniels. Even say as a Jayden Daniels fan, best case scenario, they prefer Jayden Daniels today. Who knows what happens after these meetings if they end up leaning more towards Drake Maye, because maybe they just feel so closely about the guy's tape, and then with how they present themselves in these film sessions that they do with them, how they approach them, talking to them, how they even just something as simple as how they shake their hands and how their demeanor, their leadership skills and things like that, how they come across in face-to-face meetings and things like that, that could change their minds. And you never know. Maybe they prefer Drake Maye tomorrow. Who knows? Chris Cooley also, I feel like he had a great tweet to basically rebuttal JP Finley's tweet. He said one of the DC's biggest reporters thinks the front office told the NFL that they're drafting Daniels and that Way is changing his number so that they can put the Way jerseys on sale. All before Daniels even has his top 30 visit. You can't make this up. And that's a great point, man. I don't want to jump on the whole JP Finley looks crazy thing that's going on right now, but that is wild speculation right there. When Jayden Daniels hasn't even had his top 30 visit, let alone Drake Maye and the other top quarterbacks. And like, why would they give the NFL a heads up to, all right, go ahead and start selling Tressway jerseys on sale so you can go ahead and get rid of them, because we're about to draft the guy who previously wore number 5 in college, and we're just going to assume that he wants to wear number 5 at the NFL level. There's just too many assumptions here, too many false predictions. We'll see what happens though. I mean, because who knows? Maybe in a couple of weeks, we would have drafted Jayden Daniels, and then, yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of these Tressway jerseys because Jayden Daniels deserves to get the number 5 that he wants. But until then, this is just purely ridiculous speculation at this point. And then somebody also pointed out the fact that Jamin Davis's jersey is on sale. And it may not be half off like Tressway's, but it's 30% off. So still, I don't think Jamin Davis is going anywhere, or he's about to change numbers. But I mean, who knows? And also, before we get up out of here, the last thing I wanted to point out, I know a lot of people have been talking about the Brandon Aiyuk thing. I even did my whole separate video just completely on him, why he would make sense, why he wouldn't make sense, how he would fit on the team, his stats, Pro Football Focus grades, what money he could potentially demand, what a trade could look like. I did a whole video on that a couple of weeks ago if you want to go check that out. But Adam Schefter said that he's heard of no Commanders' interest in the 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk so far. But it is still early. Shouts out to Trap or Die podcast for this tweet, so I got to make sure I shout them out because they were the one that dropped that bombshell with Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter was on their show when he said Commanders fans can go ahead and start buying Jayden Daniels jerseys. So I guess that goes back to the whole Tressway thing we just talked about. But either way, Adam Schefter said on their podcast that he has heard nothing so far about the Commanders pursuing Brandon Aiyuk. But again, you never know. You never know. It's very early. Aiyuk's agent also stated that his client has not requested a trade, but you never know. Things can change. And during the draft is when things get crazy. Remember, the Eagles traded for A.J. Brown during the draft, and nobody saw that coming. And Brandon Aiyuk has been even more upset than A.J. Brown was. The Brandon Aiyuk drama is even more all over the place. So I feel like he's even more likely to be traded than A.J. Brown ended up getting traded. And so I also want to point out the fact that we're very far down on the betting odds for landing spots for Brandon Aiyuk on top of everything else. Adam Schefter already said that he has heard no connection between the Commanders potentially trading for Brandon Aiyuk. And then on top of that, we have 25-1 odds to get him right now according to the betting odds from Sports Betting AG. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers, then the Panthers, then the Patriots, then the Cardinals, then the Chargers, then the Bills, then the Giants, then the Chiefs, then the Jaguars, then the Buccaneers, then the Bengals, and then you have us in a 4-way tie with the Falcons, Ravens, and Raiders. So it's not sounding very likely. And then after that, it's everybody else in a 5-way tie for last place. So it just doesn't sound very likely that we're pursuing them, but you never know. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Please get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video. Please stiff arm that like button, stiff arm the subscription button, stiff arm the bell next to that subscription button so you get notification each and every time I release an informative and opinionated video just like this one. I really appreciate y'all staying patient with me. I haven't been able to do videos every day, but like I said, in a few days, I'm about to start hitting y'all with not only at least one video a day, but I'm getting to like 2 or 3. I'm pretty sure most days I'm going to try to knock out like 3, especially including film sessions, because draft is coming really soon. I need to go ahead and do another mock draft as well. And make sure y'all stay tuned for all of that. I really appreciate y'all. Make sure you do not leave this video without leaving a like. And of course, Get in the comment section. Let me know how you feel about the Dave Gardi signing, well, hiring technically, and also let me know how you feel about everything discussed in this video, especially like with us cramming in all of these top 30 visits within a couple of days. We've had the past few weeks to do them. Why are we cramming them in to like the last 3 days, literally leading up to the very last day that by rules you can have top 30 visits, Wednesday, April 17th. So let me know how you feel about that whole thing. Is that more of like how they sometimes people do job interviews and have everybody in the same room at the same time rather than one-on-ones? I mean, I don't know. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Let me know how you feel about the whole Brandon Aiyuk situation. And yeah, man, I really appreciate y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm out.